All right, so we've been talking a lot about gold recently, but we haven't really talked that much about silver in recent days. But in this episode, we're going to focus a little bit more on the white metal and see where exactly we should expect the price to wind up by the end of the year. Now, I've mentioned many times before, just going through some of my models and looking at some of the price action, that it's going to take quite a bit for silver to get above $30. And I know a lot of people are looking at that price level, possibly by the end of the year, hitting that. Now, I don't think we will get to that point unless gold really makes a move for it, especially getting close to like around 2100. Now, if you think gold is going to get that high, then sure, we should definitely expect $30 to be on the horizon. But I don't expect that before 2022. But let's see exactly what this author has to say about Q4 for silver. So let's get down here and see what they had to say. Silver was down 16% in Q3 as the Fed begins to taper asset purchases. Another factor is that inflation looks likely to ease in the coming months as supply chain issues are sorted out. However, Taylor Dart explains why Q4 could be quite strong for silver. Precious metals bulls hoping for a stronger second half of the year have not been rewarded yet, with silver sliding more than 16% in Q3, falling deeper into negative territory year to date. This horrid Q3 performance followed a sharp reversal and a 6% drop in June, and it's now up to the bulls to play strong defense as we, I guess, name it's right, enter Q4. That good news, or the good news for investors, is that silver's seasonality is very strong in Q4, often finding a low in late Q3 or early Q4, which is pretty much where we are right now, guys. So we're pretty much in the thick of where we should expect low prices. But let me continue. And we should be rallying into year end. The other good news is that silver is the most hated it's been in years, and when the scales are tipped too far in one direction for pessimism, we typically see snapback rallies. Let's take a closer look below. Beginning with seasonality, we see that silver followed its typical seasonality traits quite well to start the year, with a near parabolic rally out of the gate in January. Though it peaked earlier than expected in February versus March typically, silver then peaked again in Q2, which is typical of the metal, before wading through its seasonally weakest period, May through July. Unfortunately, the June softness persisted into Q3, which has caught several investors off guard. The silver lining, though, is that silver is now less than a week away. So I'm actually recording this probably a week before I release this video. So it's probably happening right now, where it often makes H2 or second half of the year lows, with this low typically arriving in the second week of October. So when I release this video, it's probably happening right now. Now, here's the most important part. If December 2021 is anything like December 2020, then the bulls should have a strong relief rally ahead, with silver up 15% last December and 12% in Q4. Obviously, there's no guarantee that silver follows its seasonality traits. Still, the expected seasonal low is also arriving at the same time as a sentiment buy signal, placing more weight on a potential bottom. Now, let's take a look at where things were last year. So here we have a graph of silver. Let me move this over here and I'll scroll down so you can actually see some of the dates. If you can't, then yeah, we'll have to just make do, and I'll just hover over here so you can kind of know where we are. So pretty much right around here is mid-October back in 2020. So obviously we had the, and this is basically the third week of September in 2020. So we had the quadruple witching day, which obviously brought silver all the way down here. This is 2020, guys. Brought silver all the way down here. And we're basically in this really choppy trading range. And over here to the right, this is pretty much where we saw the quadruple witching day recently. So not as much of a sell-off this year as it was last year. And we're kind of entered in that choppy period. This is pretty much that choppy period that followed last year. And really things didn't pick up until we hit pretty much a double bottom. And that double bottom hit basically on December or November 30th. And then things really start to take off. Going into the end of February, we just saw things pretty much just take off for almost a 2-month period, beginning at the end of November. So if this were to kind of play out in the same way, that we should expect that for the next few weeks, we might see some weakness in silver, might see some weakness even in gold as well. And we really shouldn't expect anything to happen until the end or towards the end of the year. And when that does happen, then we might expect to see prices really take off. But in my view, I still don't think it'll get to a point where we see silver above $30. I think we'll see silver get above where it is currently right now. Again, establishing a bottom, retesting where it has been in the past, but then maybe getting into the mid 20s is pretty much where I'm thinking we'll find silver by the end of the year. But guys, let me know what you think. I know some of you have said that you think silver might even get down to $19, $18. I don't know if it'll get that low, but of course, none of us have a crystal ball. We just have some models and we just have some historical data. But let me know what you think will happen in the comment section below by the end of 2021.